In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa. SSM's Wednesday Global Africa program brings to you our news stories, exclusive reporting, and SSM perspectives on the day's top news. Plus, the inside scoop on Africa's most important developing stories. Join us on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. West African time.
Yes. Good morning, viewers around the world. You are welcome to SSM Wednesday Africa, also international world affairs. We give our updates Wednesday. We try to put, like the intro said, try to put into perspective news. Too many news fly around. Sometimes you get confused. Sometimes you can't put it together. What's happening? But you need to be updated. You need to stay on guard with affairs. It affects also your daily activities. It affects your knowledge about things around you. So you're welcome. My name is Mark Godwin Iweajunwa, and I'm here as usual with my coordinators, my partners from different parts of the world. Joining me now from Lagos, Nigeria is Ogbeni Olayinka Raji. Raji, you're welcome. How are you, Raji?
Mark. I'm very well, thank you. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, viewers across the globe. Welcome to our Wednesday program on SSM.
Yeah, you're welcome, Raji. So, Raji, it's actually Africa Day. We do Africa update today, but because of some anxiety that is playing around, people are confused. I think we need to talk about what's looming. Most part of Europe is bracing up for war. Yesterday, we saw heavy machines, soldiers coming out from Sweden, from Germany, from Norway, and they are all staying on guard. Nobody knows what could happen. We know also that Israel, on top of this heat, has agreed on a ceasefire with Hezbollah. Benjamin Netanyahu pledged support, and he said a peace deal will be signed within few months from now. So all this is playing out. Let's listen to Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. Let's hear what he says with the translation.
הבטחתי לכם ניצחון ונשיג ניצחון. נשלים את חיסול החמאס, נשיב את כל חטופינו, נבטיח שעזה לא תהווה עוד איום על ישראל, ונחזיר את תושבי הצפון בבטחה לבתיהם. המלחמה לא תסתיים עד שנשיג את כל יעדיה, ובכלל זה עד שלא נשיב את תושבי הצפון בבטחה הביתה. הערב אביא לאישור הקבינט מתווה להפסקת אש בלבנון. משך הפסקת האש תלוי במה שהתרחש בלבנון. בהבנה מלאה עם ארצות הברית, אנחנו שומרים על חופש פעולה צבאי מלא. אם חיזבאללה יפר את ההסכם וינסה להתחמש, אנחנו נתקוף. אם הוא ינסה לחדש תשתיות טרור בסמוך לגבול, אנחנו נתקוף.
Raji, that's the PM talking. Yes, he said, these are some of the words he said, that yes, there is a plan to, fight till the end. Before we continue, let's bring in George. George from Toronto, Canada. George, good to see you this Wednesday morning.
Good morning, Olayinka Raji. Good morning, Mark Godwin. Good morning, viewers from around the world. Welcome to our Wednesday Nigerian West Africa update. Thank you.
Nice. You said that so well. Good. George, yes, we said it's Africa, it's Nigeria, but because of what the anxiety playing out within people in Europe, we want to talk about Europeans and most parts of the world bracing up for war. Yesterday, heavy vehicles were coming out of Germany, aircraft and soldiers staying on guard because nobody knows what will happen. We know Biden has given Ukraine the go ahead to use long missile weapons, and all of these doesn't look good because Russia can't just be there and watch things play out. So, Raji, let me start with you. Benjamin Netanyahu on top of this said ceasefire. There will be ceasefire, a peace truce will be called. Tell us, what do you have on that, Raji?
No, I just listened to a war criminal ranting as usual, thinking that he's on top of the whole thing. Yes. They have to, what he's saying shouldn't have been said today, should have been said more than, in fact, shouldn't have been a reason to say it. There shouldn't have been war in the first instance. But then it is as it is, as the whole world seems to be giving Israel and Netanyahu a lot of respect. But I just listened to a war criminal pretending to be a peaceful ambassador.
Okay, it's not only on Israel and Hamas and Hezbollah and all that. It's also Ukraine, Russia. It's also some others.
What has it got to do with Ukraine and Russia?
No, I'm not talking about Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm talking of the tension in the world. I'm not saying.
I agree with you. Yeah. I agree with you. And I don't see why there should be military movement in Europe, because I would have believed that with Trump coming in, the war in Ukraine, which shouldn't have been a war at all in the first instance, will not come to a stop. That we are looking for peace. Europe depends on Russia for a lot of its energy supply. So the war in Ukraine is actually detrimental to the interests of the people of Europe. And I'm sure I'm still surprised that there's military movement across Europe, against which security risk I don't seem to understand.
No, that means, Raji, you're obviously not really okay. George,
I am following the movement. I'm giving. Number one is the fact that you are calling. Hold tight. Let me continue. The fact that you are calling Benjamin Netanyahu a war criminal for for protecting his territory that he is the prime minister of, when they came and killed more than 1,200 people, kidnapped a lot of them, and still holding them hostage up until today, is actually very, very despicable. That you will continue to call him a war criminal. You call him a war criminal because he's supposed to lie down like a dog, so they can come and destroy. It doesn't matter. You have no reason calling him a war criminal. They can call him a war criminal because. Excuse me. Can I finish? Can I finish? Don't call him a war criminal. He is an effective prime minister protecting his. He is an effective prime minister protecting his territory. Can I finish? I didn't interrupt you when you were talking. I did not interrupt you when you were saying. Allow me to finish my statement. Can you just please be quiet? Thank you. Let me go ahead. So now the point is this: you can call him a war criminal because of whoever side you are on, maybe because you're a Muslim. Now the point about it is this: you cannot expect him to lie down low.
It's not about religion.
It seems like that from what I'm hearing you. Because you don't condemn, you never condemn Hezbollah, you never condemn Hezbollah, you never condemn the Hamas, you never condemn the Iran, because you're always on their side because you're a Muslim. So if it's not that, I don't know what else it is. I don't know what else it is. If it is not that you are a Muslim supporting the Muslim nations, whether they're doing atrocities or not, I don't know what it is. So let me finish my comment. What I'm saying is this: Benjamin Netanyahu have the, they have to defend themselves. This is a small country surrounded by enemies all around them. All of a sudden, they came and kidnapped more than 1,200 people, killed a lot of them, and they killed more than 1,200 people, kidnapped a lot of them, and still holding them hostage up until today. And you are here talking. So he's supposed to be a lay dog who is going to lie down and allow all these terrorist nations to come again. Can you allow somebody? It doesn't matter what the ICC said. I'm talking about the news. The news. I'm talking about the news. Stop interrupting.
Which
you are. Can you please stop interrupting Mr. Olayin Karaji? Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. When I am talking, be a grown-up man and stop interrupting. Let me finish my statement, for goodness sake.
It's okay.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense when two people are talking. Nobody is talking. All I'm saying is this. It is your own opinion that he's a war criminal, whether ICC called him a war criminal or not. But what I'm saying here is, it seems as if you are supporting Iran. You're supporting Hezbollah. You're supporting Hamas. You never condemned them, even for the people that were killed. Is it okay for them to go to a nation, kidnap, destroy people's lives, kidnap people and still holding them hostage? And the prime minister is going to sit down like your president and do nothing? Is that what he's supposed to do? No. I applaud him for protect. Can I finish? Right? Can I finish? Mark.
Okay, but
you need
yes,
to. Okay,
okay.
When someone is speaking, mute the other person. Let me just finish. Okay, I have to make it. You finished. I did not interrupt you. Respectfully.
Okay.
All I'm saying is this. All I'm saying is this. All I'm saying is this. Benjamin Netanyahu actually was saying yesterday the ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel is applauded. There ought to be peace, and possibly this might extend to Gaza Strip. Okay, that so that there will be peace in that region. But the fact still remains that it's condemnable act for them to have done what they did, and up until today, I expect Israel to protect themselves and defend themselves against these terrorist nations that are coming against them. Point and blank, simple, straightforward. Thank you.
Point and blank, simple, straightforward.
Please, let me just make one sentence. ICC have declared Netanyahu a war criminal, and that's what I just
said.
Now,
yes, it's okay. What we should also look is the general situation of the war that is looming. Now, what you have there on the viewers, what you have there on the screen is a diagram, a graphic diagram we came up with here in the studio, highlighting where this war could be looming from, where it might. We're not saying it's happening, but we're only looking at what could happen. So you have those places with the fire graphics highlighting where it could start up from. So it's not just even in the Middle East, it's also in far Asia, that's North Korea and all those parts there. It's also in Russia and Ukraine, that's the one you see right there in the middle. It's also somewhere in South America. South America, there are some real wild confrontations going on. It's also somewhere, so you can see all of those highlights and how it could happen. So, but it's just a prediction. We're not saying it's going to happen. It's just we're foreseeing. We're looking at what could spring up immediately. Somebody goes the other way. But with the way it is now, last night, what you have on the other side in the Middle East, it could be reduced tension if Benjamin Netanyahu is calling for a peace, a ceasefire. So we could have less fire from there and begin to look at other places where the fire is springing up from. So that's it. That's what I want us to talk about. Not who's war criminal and who's not. Anybody can say anything about anybody, but what we're looking at is the world generally in this as it is issues. Okay, let's go back to our African updates now. It's okay. Yes, let's go to the Africa. So, gentlemen, we saw yesterday, again, George, we saw Yahaya Bello presenting himself to EFCC in that 8 billion naira fraud case. And this time, Nigerians are
80
saying...
billion.
80 billion, sorry. Nigerians are saying he should get a mug shot. They want to see a mug shot of him holding the EFCC allegations and everything. And people want to see the things go further. Talk to us, Sir George. Let me start with you.
Well, I mean, this is what you call selective justice when it comes to Nigeria. He's alluded the EFCC. The head of EFCC swore that if the man is not brought to justice, that he will resign, but he's still there. So these are the conflicts that we're seeing. They showed up the first time. They didn't arrest him in September because they said that the governor of the state, he was holding his hand, and if they had tried to arrest him, that there would have been a bullet flying from both sides. Anyway, it is good that finally they are holding him responsible or arraigned him according to what they say, because we don't know what is really going on. But what you see here is selective justice. A man is being alleged to have stolen 80 billion naira to pay his children's school fees and other criminal acts that are being brought forth. 2 or 3 people are being charged with him, but we haven't seen anything because he was a former governor who is in line or in cahoots with the current governor of the state. And then we're seeing EFCC dance up and down over this whole entire situation. You are right, people are demanding for mugshot. They need a mugshot of him. If they have arraigned him in court and they are postponing the case until further notice, or whenever the justice is going to bring them back to court. But what we are seeing is that selective justice in Nigeria, because if you are not a notable individual, if you don't have money, they will pick you up and lock you up, and that is it. And I use this as an example of what is really happening in that country. A man was crying out for help in Lagos to come and help them because their businesses are being destroyed, and nobody heard. And he said, if you guys are not helping, maybe we can call POB to come from the east and then come and help us. They arrested the man. He's still in jail today. And yet this man stole so much amount of money, and they're dancing around, they're handling with his glove as if it's a little egg that they don't want to touch. That's selective justice in Nigeria. So you see the difference between when it concerns somebody who is in power and somebody who is a regular citizen of Nigeria, especially when they're from the East, is what I'm saying. So let's equalize the playing ground for Nigerian equal justice.
Playing ground for Nigerian equal justice. EFCC adjourned the case to November 27. Raji, do you think this time we'll be doing it the way it should?
I think it's unfortunate the way Sir George is bringing in IPOB and individual security in Lagos with that of Yahaya Bello and his case. Now, even though I'm seriously against it, I do not think that IPOB is a terrorist organization. Even though the government has so much branded it as such, and has therefore declared it an illegal thing. So you cannot bring a terrorist organization to come and protect you anywhere. Even though personally I don't believe that IPOB is a terrorist organization, but that's my personal opinion. Coming to Yahaya Bello, I do not think that Yahaya Bello is being arraigned for a paltry 80 billion. There are far more things to it. And I've been questioning the rationale behind Okoa being arrested, Obaseki being hounded, and all the other people who left governorship more than 6 months after Yahaya Bello had been declared wanted. And we have all seen the shenanigans between Yahaya Bello and the EFCC, and the very, very unfortunate situation that has persisted even with this Yaya Bello thing. And according to the grapevine, maybe but now the party arrangement so that Yaya Bello can now come out and be seen to have been arrested by EFCC. But just as Nigerians are demanding for a mugshot, I think that mugshot will confirm to Nigerians that indeed Yaya Bello has been arrested. Even though that we have just seen pictures of Okoa with his head bent and probably regretting his actions in putting away more than 1.something trillion naira of Delta State money on a very stupid venture. But it's good to hear that.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, go ahead, George. Go ahead.
I am so happy that Okoa was arrested, and they need to arrest some of these other governors from the southeast. Has been making a way with the resources that is supposed to provide infrastructure and for the help of the people in the southeast. For instance, the Abia State governor needs to be arrested.
Okay.
Yes, because you cannot just Okowa being arrested is a great idea.
The Abia State former governor.
Former Okezie Ibazu needs to be arrested and questioned over every allegation about, for 24 years, that state was held hostage until the Labour Party man took over this current time. They need to question them, because what are we doing in this nation? What is it that we are doing? People will come, they will do what they want to do, just act the way they want to act, abuse the way they want to abuse, and then they go and hide in the Senate. This is exactly the recycling system. Rogues and thieves leaving governorship and into the Senate to govern who? To govern Nigeria. And we're here looking. They need to, every governor needs to be looked into. The former governor of Imo State needs to be arrested, questioned, and forensic investigation over the allegations that are being brought up against them. Every single one of them needs to be arrested. I'm not even dealing with the northern people. I'm talking about the southeast. All these governors need to be questioned. They need to be checked, because it is unfair to the people when you have all the resources that are being given to a nation, a state. Somebody will handle it and take it and abuse it, and nothing is done. And they wangle himself into the Senate to hide there. No, it's not. No. It's not supposed to be that way.
Thank you, George. George, now you said this so well. You want to respond?
No,
anything? Okay, before you respond.
Okay.
Allow him to respond.
All right, go ahead.
No, I'm not responding. I'm just responding. I'm just adding the fact that, you see, as long as federalism is not clearly demarcated, what people see is that it is federal government money, but every politics is local. Until the people see that what is being spent is not federal government money, because every month the state go to Abuja to collect subventions, they think it's money from some remote source. But if the money is generated inside the state, and the governor of the state whittles it down, the people will cry out. So let us stop this feeding bottle thing, so that every governor will be answerable to the local people.
Answerable to the local
people. Believe that
it
is their money that being spent, not
we have
money.
We have Namibian viewers following us, so we need to give update on what's happening in Namibia. So we put our satellite to Windhoek, Namibia. Yes, this morning, Wednesday, the 27th, the Namibians are going to the polls. And like we said last time, there are probability that a woman will become the first female president in that country, Namibia. The presidential election is going on. So what we'll do for our viewers, Namibian viewers, stay tuned. Friday, we might have had what the election results. So by Friday, we'll give you updates. But this morning, yes, Namibians are all going out to vote. And like we said, there are chances for the Madam. So that's for our viewers from Namibia. We have some of them following us and chatting up also. Gentlemen, let's. You want to say something? Go ahead, Raji.
Yeah, I wanted to ask if our Namibian viewer could come on board maybe today or fleetingly, so that you can give us some update on what's happening in Namibia.
Okay, very good. Yes. Let's hope we've sent our invitation. We want to have any one of them come in to give us some updates. So, but anyway, SSM viewers, you see that we're all connected. We're reaching out to all parts of the world, Africa, Europe, all parts of the world, and we'll be glad to have everybody also be joining on this. You are a news source wherever you are. You can be a source of news, information, updates to your fellow human being. Before we continue, let's bring in our diva from Lagos, Nigeria. We have here with us BD Nana. BD, how are you? Welcome.
I'm all right. Good morning, everyone. Sajjad, Saraji, our viewers all around the world. It's nice having you again today. Let's do it like always.
Yes.
Morning, BD.
Yeah, BD.
Morning, BD.
So, a quick one before we go on the break. Gentlemen, our president just came back from Brazil. Now he's heading to France. I think by now he'll probably be in France because it was an early morning flight. He's moving around. BD, tell us. He says it's an invitation from the French president. But we are saying, it's too much for the movement. It's too much. BD, tell us what's happening.
We are looking for investors. The president is looking for investors. So, because he's looking for investors and because we need investors, so he needs to move around. It's okay. It's a normal thing. So, we are seeking for investors. So, if you can invest in us, please, you're welcome.
Okay.
So for 1 year, for a year and less than 6 months, we have seen our president travel outside of the country more than 30 times. So I want you to divide the number of months that he's been the president and the number of times he has traveled, and then I want you to quantify that. Go ahead.
No, you are talking about times. You are talking about times he has traveled. You are not talking about days he has been out of the country on his travel.
That's one of the things that I want to also allude to is now I want you to take a look at the amount of money being spent unnecessarily in all these foreign trips that are being made by the president, and not one single thing has changed since his presidency. Isn't that something that attention should be called to? Or maybe he needs to slow down, because people are still dying in Nigeria. The inflation is still off the hook. Insecurity is all over the place. But he's moving around the world. I'm not quite sure I understand this governance. The same thing happened with the Buhari. He was away from Nigeria for so many years of his 8 years of presidency. And this one has already made history in our country. Already. He's already made history.
Yeah,
so, Go ahead.
Yeah, the story has it that he has actually traveled for 16 times within a year and 6 months and have gone to 11 countries.
More than 30 times. Go check it out. 29 times the last time he went to Brazil. 29.
Yes.
29 the last time. This is 30.
France, 30, yes. With France now.
Yes.
And
that's right.
Anyway, gentlemen, we are following.
Like I said earlier, if you're looking for something, Sir George, if you really have your heart in something and you're looking for something, irrespective of the way you're looking for it, are you looking for it in a good way or in a bad way? You keep looking until you found it. President is looking for investors and he has never found investors, so you keep traveling So the earlier we get used to it, I think it will be better for us. I used to be one of those people who used to frown at it. I think I'm done frowning at it. Let him travel, because the thing is that we the Nigerians like it, and that's why he keeps traveling. So
it seems as if BD has given up.
No, the point is this. The point is this. It's been. I know she's being sarcastic, but the point of the whole entire situation is this. Number one, you need to stay home, clean up your house before you start going outside to get investors, because no reasonable person will come to invest in Nigeria with the type of news that is coming out of that place every single day. No reasonable individual. I will not put my money in Nigeria as the state of economy is in that country. Talk less of other people. So the point is this: stay home, clean up your house, fix what is going on. Maybe you can actually have a couple of years after that, to bring in new investors. And if you're seeking for another another 4 years after that, maybe we can clap for you and applaud you. But right now, as it stands, there is nothing they have achieved so far in the lives of the people of Nigerians. Simple.
All right, gentlemen, let's go on a short break.
I think there's a story. There's a story of a 2.5 billion investment in the meat industry.
You know why I said that we like it? Davido made a statement, and he made
no, we're coming to that. Don't worry, we're coming to that. Let's go on a short break, gentlemen. We'll be back. Thank you.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerian soul are proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
This is everything you need to marry a Nigerian girl. Her father gave me a list of 39 items which include a live goat. The first place I went was the bulk food market to gather the yam, palm oil, baskets of fruit, and dried fish known as eja osun. And it's not just one yam or liter of palm oil, I am buying large quantities. It was pouring rain and I rented boots to make it through the mud, but it is worth it to marry my beautiful bride. In Nigeria, they practice dowry for marriage, paid to the family. In the Yoruba culture, each item is symbolic and not really a payment to the family, but rather proving your worth to marry her. And prove it I did by next heading to the goat market, where I spoke with a house of men to find the meatiest goat. This is the one I picked, and surprisingly, the goat at only $40 is one of the cheapest items on the list. This can't be done in one day, so after the rain cleared, I went to Mushin Main Market to find the kola nut, both bitter and regular, the alligator pepper, the adun, which specifically said I needed to buy plenty, and bottle of raw honey, which symbolizes that our marriage will be sweet. Next, I had to gather biscuits, bulk packs of different drinks, wine, and semen schnapps, as well as a suitcase full of new clothes for my fiance to prove I can provide for her in the marriage. And lastly, the marriage Bible, as God will always come first. It is possible to pay someone to buy these items, but for me, I wanted the experience myself. Finally, we brought all these items to the family home for the wedding day. It is not easy to marry a Yoruba girl, but my bride is strong, smart, loving, beautiful, and completely worth it.
SSM's Wednesday Global Africa program brings to you our news stories, exclusive reporting, and SSM perspectives on the day's top news. Plus, the inside scoop on Africa's most important developing stories. Join us on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. West African time.
Yes, we're here. Viewers, you welcome back the second half of our program, Wednesday African Update. Gentlemen, finally, Port Harcourt refinery is producing. Let's see this clip before we get to the talk. So, viewers, what you're watching there on your screen is the Port Harcourt refinery that's begun production. The Port Harcourt refinery is refinery that refines fuel, like we all know. Now also we heard it will be doing a lot. They said the refinery incorporates something called crack C5. Crack C5 is a blending component, and a lot of refinery will be, a lot of products will be refined there. There will be the gasoline, there will be the PMS, or what you call petrol, there will be kerosene, and activities have started. So this is what we're seeing. Yesterday, we all shouted with excitement. Now NNPC seems to be getting it right. George, let me start with you. Finally, what we used to discuss here is beginning to unfold. You talk about this.
Well, we hope they're talking about beginning with 60 million barrels of crude, and they will increase it to 210. So hopefully this will lessen the burden, because the question is, we can rejoice, we can shout, we can roar. Part of the reason why up until today we don't have light in Nigeria is because of the importation of generators, the people people that are importing it, and the crude oil that is being imported into Nigeria, which meant that if we give light to Nigeria, those people will lose their businesses, and they are the ones sabotaging the whole entire thing. So as it stands right now, we're still talking about the Malta refinery that is linked to our president. Now, you remember when Dangote started his own, he's supposed to have lessen the burden upon the people. He started with number one, the fuel subsidy not being going away or disappearing, but he's been resurrected again and again and again. And then people are still paying quadrupled it at the amount of money that they used to pay, even more than that, about 6 times or 7 times the amount of money they used to pay prior to the the inception of this governance. Okay, so now what we're seeing also is Dangote came in, no release, no burden release, relief for the people. Now also Port Harcourt refinery is coming in. Politics, I hope, is not going to come into this, because as it stands so far, if that Malta that we are talking about, the Malta refinery that we are talking about, is still linked to our president, that means that through the back doors, fuel will still be imported into the country. And we just pray and hope that all of these things will not affect, will not actually bring the prices of, the final product to the people to be as high as it is. Let the people breathe, like we have been saying from the very past. They need a little relief from the pressure that started since this president became our leader. Okay. So that's what we need.
Yes. BD, do you think politics will come in? Do you think there'll be some back end magu like we say?
Well, we saw it during the Buhari regime. It started. The production started like this when they brought in some refinery engineer from Italy. They came and the production started like this in 2019. Have you forgotten?
Yes.
So I'm not part of those people who are rejoicing with this, because the government we have in Nigeria is government full of propaganda. So I'm not part of those people who are rejoicing. No. So let's watch and see what will play out. Like you asked me, it happened during Buhari time. It started like this, and people, Nigerians, were rejoicing. They were praising him. Within a short time, he went under the rain. So it's possible. This government is full of propaganda. I don't trust them.
Oh dear, Raji. They said the refinery will be operating at 70% capacity. Do you think all of these will really?
When the government increases what do you call it, the publicity team from a few to about 10 or 15, I know that you are in for a lot of talk. A lot will be said, and very, very little much will be.
It's not even 10 to 15. It's even more than 15 now.
Honestly speaking, I put a post on the forum and I got a lot of flack from the elders who are calling me natural nabob of negativity, prophet of doom, and all those things. But I believe that let's give this Port Harcourt refinery 1 more week, then we can talk. But now there's not yet Uhuru.
There is a message coming from LinkedIn. I think it's a Caucasian, because he probably doesn't understand much of what we're saying. But he says this is a Dr. David Costa. He's asking if Nigerian oil, if the Nigerian oil is up to the standard, if our crude oil is up to the standard. So maybe he doesn't have an idea. So just answer. Somebody just answer.
Yeah, listen to this. Nigerian crude oil is the best in the world. We have Bonny Light oil, the very best so far. It takes a lot less, refinement to bring the crude and bring the finest. As a matter of fact, when you come to North America, you have grades, you have regular, you have silver, you have gold, and you have extra gold. So, but our oil, can you refine our Bonny Light oil? It will give you where any vehicle can use it, aeroplane can use it, because it's so one of the best and the easiest to refine. For instance, compare that to Canada. Canada, what you have, the oil sand. So they have to separate the oil from the sand first of all, and then begin to refine it. Our oil is not like that. It's one of the best oil in the whole entire world. It's called Bonny Light. So that's what it is. Dr. Costa.
Percentage of sulfur. Less of sulfur in the oil. The best is sweet.
So I guess Dr. David Costa is probably looking to doing business. So we've become also a go-between the federal government of Nigeria and business people that wants to go into the oil sector. SSM is not helping you. Yes, come to Nigeria. We have the best oil, like the gentlemen have said. Less of sulfuric acid, less of a lot of things that probably will undermine the good brand of that oil. All right, gentlemen.
Actually, because of that, what just mentioned, with that less sulfur, the byproducts of the crude oil, it makes it easier to refine. It makes it easier to have the byproducts. For instance, they use it for plastic, they use it for other things. So, our oil is one of the best in the world, in short.
Thank you. All right, guys, let's come to North of Africa. We saw, let's see this clip while we're talking. This is a clip of what is happening in Egypt. You all know Egypt is a big tourist ground. People like to go through that canal, that Suez Canal and all that. So last week, during the weekend, some tourists boarded the boat. It's called, I think that boat is called Sea Story. And there was a tragedy. The boat somehow overturned, and so many people lost their lives. So they are still looking for people. So far, the boat was carrying 31 tourists, and I think they've seen about 17 of them haven't been seen yet, haven't been found. European tourists, there you can see the boat. That's the boat Sea Story, and sad tragedy, sad story there. The Sea Story has become a sad story. So, gentlemen, who's following the Sea Story in Egypt and the sad story?
Well, let me talk a little bit about that. What we have seen so far is it was 44 people on the boat, 31 passengers and 13 crew members, 44 altogether. Now, there was the meteorologist was actually saying that warning came out that the weather might not be very conducive. But based on a report that we are receiving so far, the weather was not that bad on that day. So now you see, we saw that all those, when the boat capsized, quite a few number of people, were missing. Up to, I don't know, I think about 2 Britons, 1 from Germany right now is still missing, and a few others. They recovered a few of them, but not all of them have been recovered. So, but it seems like from all indication that those that have not been recovered yet, only the ones that are alive right now or that have been, saved to, life might be the only ones that that will be remaining. So recovering the rest of them might be their bodies. So that's what we are, but the story is not yet completely out, because they're still, trying to say is it the weather condition that caused it, or was it a mechanical issue with the boat itself that caused it? And this is on the Red Sea, as a matter of fact.
Good one, George. Thank you, George. Thank you. Anybody has anything again? BD.
Yes, what I have is exactly what George said. And my thing is that they said they actually sent a distress call when they were started experiencing this. They sent a distress call to the government authority, and they were not able to come for their aid at the time they needed it most. So as of now, 16 people is still missing. Like Sir George said, if they've not seen those 16 people as of now, it's obvious probably it's only by God that might make them to see their life. Maybe probably it's their body they might be seeing. So I feel for them. I feel for their family. We both console them. It's not easy, honestly. And each time I hear about that thing about that Red Sea, in fact, the people that have really survived, I think it's God. Because when I hear the story of that Red Sea, I don't know, it's this feeling of honestly.
What do you mean? You mean God sank the boat to kill people? Does God kill people?
No.
Please,
exonerate
my God, though.
No, it's not that.
Exonerate my God, though.
No, it's not that area.
My God, no, they kill, oh. Old Testament don't pass, oh.
It's not that area I'm going to. What I mean, it must be a severe thing. Do you understand? So that's even these ones that were rescued alive. So whenever I hear Red Sea, because me, I feel Red Sea is something very mighty, very big. So for these ones that are even rescued, it's even God. That's what I mean. I feel it should be a severe thing. That's what I mean.
But George, me, I don't agree with your stance. So God kills. He kills.
Not these days.
He's still killing till tomorrow. We'll come to talk about that. And they tell you God kills. He takes
God does not kill. God does not kill.
You say God doesn't kill.
God doesn't kill.
God of killing.
He killed in the Old Testament, not anymore.
No, he's still killing till today.
No, he doesn't.
He does not. His son came and died.
God does not kill.
I know very well that God Almighty kills people.
No, he doesn't kill. He doesn't kill, I'm telling you.
He kills in a very brutal way.
No, he doesn't.
I know
God doesn't
kill.
I think we should keep religion out of this.
Yeah, let's keep religion out of it.
Now, let me say, in the olden days, God was actually killing, doing a lot of things by himself. But that was why he needed somebody to come and redeem humanity. And that was
Amen.
And after his son came, he's no longer killing. Do you understand?
Hey! Now the killing they more deadlier. All right,
listen to this. Let's go to another story. But let me tell you, I think Massive Mark is one of those fire and brimstone religious folks who wants they will say, God killed them, God massacred them, God annihilate them.
And he kills.
He doesn't kill.
He will kill to the end of time. Because people are stubborn and
he doesn't kill. People kill themselves.
Let's come to a story that might be killing us Nigerians if we don't take time. And that's the Nigerian custom yesterday handed over 21 stolen exotic cars worth about 1.8 billion to the Canadian government. George, do you know about this? The cars were stolen.
Yes, I do. Now, as a matter of fact, what they have been doing here is, there are some other countries that were involved during the investigation locally here in Canada about these exotic cars. So you have young people, especially people under age. They use them like 17, 16, sometimes even 15 years old to go and hijack these vehicles from their owners. Sometimes they will open it up and then they will now take these vehicles, change the VIN number and change everything. Sometimes they will even, take the vehicle to a mechanic shop and they will just, completely dismantle the whole vehicle and put it in a boat to send it out. So when they take it to the other country, they will do it. So it's been happening. The increase in Ontario, Canada, has been something to be dealing with. So the government actually bring a task force to look into it. And this is part of the part of what you're seeing today. It is the local task force in Canada, in Ontario, especially in Toronto area, in the GTA area, that is bringing about this particular investigation that resulted in, in this 1.8 billion or 21 vehicles being returned to Canada. So it's been a very dire situation here. Young people are going out there, they will take gun, they will hijack you, they take you out of your vehicle, and they take the vehicle and go. So, and many Nigerians are involved in this particular saga. And that's why you see that all these things you're seeing, which is very, very bad that our name will be coming up in a situation like this.
Sad situation. BD,
sad.
Now, one thing I know is Nigerian young men are very intelligent, they're smart. You know, for you to deactivate those gadgets, those cars, remove those sensors and all these things, it's real high-tech intelligence. Now, if you have this kind of intelligence, why are we doing this? Why not use those intelligence to do some other things, those brain? Biddy, what do you know about this car?
I like the question you just asked. Now, how many people in authority in Nigeria will just reason the way you're reasoning now? How many of them? Now, if it's in a developed world, they will gather these people and put them in a hub, train them, and make them useful. But now, what Nigerian government is going to do now, they're going to arrest these people and, lock them up. And in that prison, they will gather themselves and become more deadly. Now, another thing I want to say, for this kind of thing to be, because they said they falsified the documents in that Canada. Yeah, Nigerians are involved, but the people of the land must be part of this for this thing to be successful. Because they will steal this car and they will come to their wharf where they will send it out of that into Africa or to any other country. The government in charge, I began to understand that when you talk about crime, I checked out the crime rate and I see a lot of developed worlds who are topping in crime level. It's not just Nigeria. Before I used to think it's just a Nigerian thing, but we have a lot of developed world who are into crime. So the Canadian government too are involved in this, and that is why they are getting away.
Please, a point of correction. This is not Nigeria, please. Let me tell you something. I live among Nigerians. There is no person in the government that is involved in this mess. I can guarantee you that. This is not Nigeria. They don't think, excuse me, let me finish. This is the country that I live in. And I know the government from the prime minister all the way down to the mayors and the MPs. So when you talk about this, I've known about this among our own people when they do it. It has nothing to do with the government. What they do, they will get it, they will change the VIN number, they go into the system and find another VIN number of a vehicle that has been dilapidated, or go to the junkyard and use that particular VIN number to put on these documents. So it has nothing to do with the authorities here. The authorities are actually very, very sad. And that's why they brought the task force. And that's the reason why they were able to trace this one all the way to Nigeria. So please that's Nigerian mentality that the government might be involved, not in Canada. I'm sorry.
Yes, let me tell you, I drive car in Nigeria.
Excuse me, please. Excuse me. Yes, we should realize that in every vehicle, the amount of electronics in the vehicle is even more expensive than the engine. Vehicles now have gone seriously electronic. As far back as 1999, there has been a computer in the heart of any vehicle that is shipped out. There is an international criminal gang. This is not what came to Nigeria. Is a few. It's even very few. What goes around the whole of the world is a criminal gang who are very knowledgeable in electronics and in IT, who are doing all these things. And then there's always some level of complicity because it is not easy to ship a vehicle out of a port. It's not easy. But then the criminal is always ahead of the anti-crime group, so that sometimes the vehicle would be on the high seas before the anti-crime even get to know about it.
Thank you,
sometimes, hold on, sorry. And sometimes because the batteries may be removed from the vehicles as they leave the port, the signals will not be available globally until the vehicle docks, and then it probably put together again and then cranked. You see, at that point,
I want to go with you, Raji. George, one thing, we're not saying government knows about it, but one thing is such actions. It's a syndicate. It's an organization. I know that the whites, the Europeans, the Asians, Chinese, all of these people have a gang made up of those groups where these things are done so smooth. You can't just be one side. It's all around, So that maybe that was what B was trying to say. Not that.
No, man. She mentioned the government, and you have to be careful.
In that country, that's what I mean. The government, I said in that country.
The people, yes.
The citizens are criminals,
the people, not
criminality. Not only comes from Nigeria, criminality comes from all across the board. So, but they are not the government officials having anything to do with such a thing. It doesn't happen here. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
All right,
happen.
Gentlemen, let's crop it up. Our time is up. We don't have much time, but let's do this. A young man, the Afrobeat king, as I call him. The assurance hit maker. It said something on the internet some time ago, and it sparked off. Let's hear this before we go.
My original question was like, so if people want to leave America and like try to find those,
leave America and go where?
Back home.
Let's be honest. Go back where? It's not cool back home.
It's not.
My country now is in the economy now is in shambles. Like,
but if people are leaving,
I do my part.
Yeah,
I'm an ambassador. So when I go home and I'm filming and showing, I'm not gonna show the bad parts. I ain't gonna show all the bad
You're not gonna try to slum. You're not gonna show the trenches.
No, I go to the trenches. I film the trenches, but I'm talking about the situation in the country.
Yeah,
we Nigerians, you know what I'm saying? Like now the exchange rate is messed up. A lot of stuff not going well. You know what I'm saying? The economy is just not good anymore. The oil prices are too high. And imagine a country that produces oil. We produce the oil, and we pay more money for oil than a country that's importing the oil. You know what I'm saying? So there's stuff like that. But regardless, entertainment is one of the things that's made Africa look good.
Yeah.
We do not have the best leaders. That's a fact.
Lying? Is he lying? So why is there a backlash against him? Is he lying? Is the man lying? The man is not lying.
From sacrifice.
The man is not lying. So that is exactly the reason. Hold on. I'll encourage you. One thing I can agree with you with is this about the number of people that are, the government spokespeople surrounding the president. Because most of them that are coming together, when your tongue is so sharp and you're a viper like Bayo Anonoga, they will bring you in to add to the team so that you can defend whenever things like this happen. That's exactly this young man now. They're trying to cancel his concerts in Nigeria and other things that are happening. The man was telling the truth. Is it not the same thing that you and I are talking about here every day? Arise News and other news channels that are talking about. So why are they attacking him for telling the truth? Is he becoming our enemy because he's telling us the truth?
He's not even criticizing the government. He's even saying that he makes Nigeria lose good by not going into the very bad areas when he's doing his filming. What else is there for him to say?
The man was telling the truth.
All right, BD, tell us. BD.
Say,
right.
Nigerians are full of hypocrites, sycophants. People like Patrick Dolly, who is a known name in Nollywood. Since last year that Nigerians have been going through what Nigerians have done, What has he said? He has not said anything. But he comes up to attack a boy because he's expecting Nigerian government, Tinubu government, to give him money to go and shoot movies, to sponsor his movie. That is why he comes out challenging a guy that said a good thing, a guy who has...
Who's that? Who's that?
Patrick Doyle, Nollywood actor. What has he said? He has seen one Nigerian...
Bring his picture if you can. We need to see it.
He opened up one day to criticize and say, oh, government, these things you're doing is not good. But he comes out to use the video to trend. People like Reno Mokri, Sam Clef, who are those people? Those people are non-entity. They are nobody in this country. Davido have helped more than 1 million people than those people. All what they are doing is just they're trying to be good in the face of government.
They are sycophants. Yeah, seeking
for one sponsorship or one appointment. Everything Davido said is true. Now let me ask you. Let me itemize one or two. Is our economy not in sycophant? For the first time in Nigeria, Nigerian people will go to the market. They buy yam slice. Is Nigerian government is not in sycophant? In Nigeria today, there's no day you don't see lifeless human beings on the road of Nigeria. They are killing Nigeria in mass. If there's no day, is Nigeria in shambles? Children of 11, 12, 17 years are now kidnapping their fellow children, selling them for ransom, killing them. Children. I'm talking about children. I'm not talking about teenagers. Children. Do you understand?
Okay. Thank you.
Look at him. Look at him. Bring him out for Davido. Look at this man. What has he done for Nigeria? He has an elder. He has not even spoken anything. He has not condemned any evil thing the Nigerian government is doing. He wants to come and use Davido to trend. They cannot cancel Davido's show. We will come out. I've not paid for Davido's show, but this time around I'm going to pay and I'm going to attend, and people are going to go. Patrick Dolly, you are a shameful old man who is in this country with your position. You have not been able to condemn any evil, but you have now to come and challenge your boy who is saying the truth. We should be ashamed of ourselves, all of us. We all should cover our faces.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Didi has poured out the woman emotion in her. Gentlemen, but not
because they are there. They are there seeing and experiencing this in live and direct. So we can hear from them and hear it loud and clear. Not all these sycophants that are talking nonsense or tribal individuals that are supporting evil and all that kind of stuff. We don't want that. We want the truth to be told. Thank you.
All right. Yes, viewers, this is it. We've been getting messages from LinkedIn. A lot of messages were coming in, but it's coming from a different angle, so I can't put it on the screen. Anyway, it's been a beautiful program. BD, thank you for your outpour, that real strong one. Raji, thank you for coming through. We'll be here Friday. George, let's come and talk about Third World War that is probably looming, and more stories from what's happening around the world. Until then, thank you, guys. Anybody have any last thing to say?
I just want to hail I encourage you, drink a glass of palm wine on my behalf.
Okay, just one glass. I was thinking we were going to ask
a gallon.
One keg.
A gallon. I don't want you drunk. I don't want you drunk.
SSM's Wednesday Global Africa program brings to you our news stories, exclusive reporting, and SSM perspectives on the day's top news. Plus, the inside scoop on Africa's most important developing stories. Join us on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. West African time.